Here is my 12 volt camping air conditioner. Essentially I took a evaporator core with the fan and the condensing unit out of an automobile and used that to attach to an ice chest, and I have these hoses running to a bilge pump here that is down in the ice chest. It's a 1,000 gallon an hour bilge pump. It pumps water directly through a copper tubing, then up through one of the tubes through one inlet in the evaporator core, and out the other side pumps cold water that way. I put the bilge pump inside of a yard sprinkler canister unit that goes in your yard where you put your controller units for a sprinkler. I put the bilge pump inside of that and drilled some holes in that so that water would be around that instead of ice whenever I fill the ice chest with ice. And that pumps water very sufficiently, actually, down through one of the tubes, through the condensing unit, and back out the other tube, and recycles the water back into the ice chest. I did mount the condensing unit on top of the air conditioner. You didn't have to do that, but I decided to do that, keep it all as one unit. I cut some holes in the top here for some vents to allow air to be pulled in from the fan itself, and there's a hole there underneath the fan where it's mounted, and that pulls air through and actually cools the air a little bit as it goes through and blows it across the condensing unit. Again, you didn't have to do that. You could just run it off the bilge pump, running cold water through it. It's very cold as it is doing it that way without connecting it up to the ice chest. Again, I just decided to do it to keep it all as one unit. I did test it without doing that, and the air was just as cold either way. But the ice chest was old and not very good, so I figured I would go ahead and try that and see what it would do as well. I did hook up some conduit like you would do to put vents and things into your house. I did hook some of that up to it and put an elbow unit on it so I could kind of direct the air. And I actually have another aluminum pipe that I can connect onto that, so I can actually run it out longer if I need to get it into the tent where we camp. It does kind of look like a jet engine attached to it, and the way it looks, so it does get a lot of talk and interest in look at it. It does run off the 12 volt system. Everything's run off the 12 volt system. I have a battery pack unit that I made, and runs off the standard cigarette lighter plugs that plug into it. This fan does draw about 10 to 12 amps. It does draw a little bit higher amps than what I would want, but it blows a lot of air. I've seen these built without having so much air blowing through them on smaller fans, 12 volt fans that people have used, but they just didn't blow the amount of air that I wanted. This actually blows a ton of air and blows it very fast. The nice thing about it is I got the whole condensing unit, so it's all in one package. You do need to take out your unit, clean it out if you do get something like this, and run a lot of water through your condensing unit because it has the fluids in it from being in the car, and you want to clean that out as much as possible. It's a little oily and gritty. It's like an antifreeze. It is antifreeze. It actually runs through it. So that's your heater core essentially that's inside that. It works extremely well. I was very impressed on how it turned out and the amount of air that it blows. It will draw, like I said, it's about a 10 amp battery, and it's a 10 amp or more draw on the battery from the fan, plus the 5 amps from the bilge pump. It will run your battery down. It's just standard car batteries is what I'm using, or actually marine batteries that I'm using. It will pull a lot of amperage off your battery and will run the battery down over a night. So you'd have to plan some way to recharge or whatever. I was going to hook up a solar unit to recharge to them, but I kind of ran out of time. And I just put it in a wagon and pull it around. It works great. All right, wonderful.